Hey, Matthew here, North 40 Fly Shop, Lewiston, Idaho. Tis the season to talk Spey and definitely steelhead, even fall Chinook if you feel like fishing for them. So anyways, we're going to be discussing how to set up your rod, mainly a reel for backing, all your shooting line, everything else, just to pretty much get you set up, and that way you'll be fishing for anywhere summer, fall, and also winter fishing. So after you load your reel, I try to put 30-pound Dacron. Just because the larger diameter, with Spey you get bigger reels, so this way you're able to feel the arbor more, versus like putting 2 miles at 20-pound. You can put just 200-300 yards just 30-pound. And then from the backing you'll go shooting line. So we're going to start with mono. This is Amnesia, preference of mono. It far shoots more, just superb when it comes to distance. A lot of the casters out there are shooting with mono. I myself, I prefer it. There is a little bit of a learning curve. With mono, you'll get a little more line memory, so you have to straighten it out. But other than that, it's definitely a really good product. There's a few different manufacturers out there that do mono, but it's something you could definitely gravitate towards once you're actually ready to start fishing and get comfortable with casting. From mono, Rio is called Grip Shooter, and it's actually kind of best of both worlds. The main running line will be mono, whereas they have a handling point, which will be a coated, just a coated braid, so it'll feel like standard fly line. So because that's a lot of the drawback people have, they don't like the feel of mono holding it, whereas this, the piece that you're holding is actually coated line. Then from the dual purpose, we have the Connect Core, which is just a fully coated braid in the center. So that way it just feels like a standard fly line that you're holding. A lot of people prefer this in like colder weather, or they just don't like holding mono, so they'll go with a fully integrated or a fully coated line. So that's the backing and running line, or shooting line, same thing. Then from that, we'll go with a Skagit Compact. This is what you'll want to fish if you have tips, larger flies, larger weighted flies, or if you're just trying to sink down. A lot of people will prefer this. It's a shorter head, so some find it quite a bit easier to learn on. So you could do a Skagit plus like a floating mow tip, which is the tips are range anywhere from floating to T20, which has an extremely fast sink rate. But this is a really good setup for just winter fishing, colder weather, or deep pockets. A lot of the coastal streams, they run very deep, so you can get down really quick with a heavier sink tip. Then from a Skagit, we also can go with a Skagit Route. This will be more summer, fall, more delicate presentation, long mono leaders. You can do poly floatings. A lot of the leader you'll be able to get on this will kind of dictate what water you're fishing for the temperature. So with this, you'll have probably a mono running line preferably, or just a floating poly leader. Airflow, Rio both make the poly leaders. They'll handle anywhere from float to about an intermediate with maybe a hobo Spey. Anything weighted, it's when you'll want to switch over to a Skagit. Then we have Airflow Rage, which is kind of best of both worlds. This is my personal choice for fishing the Grand Ronde. It casts like a Skagit would, not as clunky as a Skagit. However, I'm able to throw like T11 and small weighted flies on there, which is all I need to fish on the Ronde. My personal choice is a little bit longer lines, which we're getting to, but like I say, it's just preference. Next cast is a line this one here is a fall favorite, which is a mid-belly line. Well, this one's mid-belly. It's next cast 55. And so what this will be, it's actually a 52-foot head. So you get to like the mid, you'll hear people call it a mid-head or mid-range. That would be this line here. And then you would also need to connect it to one of the because this is just a shooting head. So you'd have to connect it to some kind of shooting line, whether it be mono or the core. Then you can also go This one's from Ballistic. This is actually a line I fish on the Clearwater. This is a fully integrated line that can fish anything from long monoliters to small weight tips, like intermediate polys. But this one here, it's a 56 foot head, or the one that I got. This guy's actually 54 foot, but the more weight you go, it's a little bit more in length. And this is incredibly effective because if you have a 55 foot head, that's less stripping and less time you spend stripping in your line. The more time it flies in the water, more likely you get a fish because the flies in the water more. Anyways, if you have any questions, feel free to stop in Lewis and North 40 Fly Shop, and we'll definitely be able to take care of you.